The Rap Roundtable.
Yes, sir. Episode 73 of the most dangerous, most inspirational, most influential, #1 podcast in New York City.
Talk about it.
Best.
I'm putting it on wax. I've been putting it on wax.
We the best.
#1 podcast for hip hop in New York City. They bite in the flow. They bite in the slang. Whether you want to believe it or not, bro, we go on the internet and we say something, and then like 2 weeks later, we'll see the quote bar for bar. Then we see creators with larger platforms calling things names that we've been calling it. We made it a thing. It got to Twitter. We made it a thing over there. And y'all keep biting the bars. We are the #1 underground podcast.
Listen,
like
I'm hearing guys kicking people off their lawn.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Come on.
It's ridiculous, man.
How I see it is, we are the underground podcast that a lot of you niggas talk about, but y'all don't want to share it with nobody because you don't want it to lose its edge. I get it. I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Part of the game.
Yes, sir.
But it's your boy Joff here alongside Sincere the Rap Snob.
What up? What up?
Alongside Deanie the Balance.
May the force be with you.
Alongside the homie Mase.
Yeah.
And with this episode right here, you know, I'm feeling real good. You hear this beat in the background.
Bobby.
A classic. Early days of the round table. Brought to you
1.
by Sincere the Rap Snob.
Year
He makes
1.
beats.
Holla at me.
You already know the vibe.
My old shit better than me.
Shit, my old shit better than your new shit. Talk about it, Sen. You can find the Rap Roundtable on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and of course, Twitter. And as always,
we are tonight's entertainment.
All right, fellas. So, the last episode, we had a whole show rundown that we did not get to because our Songs of the Summer list ended up being the entire episode along with that dope interview with OG Reeks.
Shout out to Reeks.
So, you know, we basically decided that a few of those topics that we didn't get to, we would just run it back.
I mean, we spanned 30 years, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a long
I
time.
ain't mad.
Shit.
It was a dope list. Some people got mad at it, but then that wasn't our fault. They were misinformed by someone else that the list was top songs of the year when the graphic clearly said songs of the summer.
Summertime.
And in some cases, y'all were asking about songs in 06 that dropped in 07, asking about songs that dropped in the winter.
Or asking for songs from Cali.
Right.
And Texas. When it was a New York list. And we were very, very clear about that.
Stay in bounds, y'all.
Reading is fundamental, y'all.
More and more, I see that the internet is a very powerful vehicle, and it's really making people not have they knives as sharp as they need to be.
Right.
Because you're not reading, you're just waiting for the internet to tell you what to think, and then you respond to it, as opposed to reading it, comprehending it, understanding it, and then responding. And then we make the mistake of thinking that people read it. It's always us. So I told you on the last episode, or I think the live, I'm not arguing with nobody anymore. Because I'm expecting too much of certain people. Not the chat, not the homies in the chat who pull up to every episode and they get the show. No. But the randos out there who just come to argue, I'm never talking to you again because I know you didn't pay attention, you didn't listen, so on and so forth. But beyond that, there was a topic that I wanted to get into as far as Nas Escobar. You know, we see him outside. We see him putting in a lot of work. This is the most work Nas has put in since I want to say the first prime he had in the late 90s, early aughts. You know what I mean? As far as activity level, not skill. Because y'all don't be listening to y'all just be parsing and looking for shit to argue with. What I'm saying is his activity level is as high as it's been in 20 years, in my opinion.
Commercials.
Getting a lot of minutes on the court. Interviews. Lucy's. You name
everywhere.
it. Tours. The Spider-Verse movie drops, Across the Spider-Verse. He's on there too.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Shout out to
Doing
Metro.
a feature with Toby Weegway, pardon me. His name is beating my ass. So the question I have for the Rap Roundtable is Nas going commercial at this juncture of his career? Sin, you want to go first, or should I pass it off and let it come back to you?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Yeah. It's an interesting question because like it makes it sound as if Nas was never commercial to begin with. Like, what part of Nas isn't commercial really?
Touche.
You know what I mean?
Be careful, Sin.
Yeah,
You're gonna get us fired
well,
already.
Look, I know listen,
commercials
as
triggering.
as a Nas fan, right? I know that there is definitely a part of him artistically or maybe part of his personality that is kind of counter-commercial. But come on, man. Like, the man did songs with Mary, Puff, Mariah, J-Lo, Chris Brown. Like, the list goes on, bro. Like, and on top of that, like, he used to do Sprite commercials. He was in ads for Carl Kanai, like, infamously. You know what I mean? Then Willie Esco, you know what I mean? Because they kind of shared a name or whatever. And I know that, like, the thing that Nas fans love about Nas is that there's a lot of his material and a lot of his personality that feels underground. But he's not underground. He's never been underground, right? And so, like, you know, he's part of him is kind of hermit-like, so he kind of like steers away from the limelight a little bit. But you know, he had that run where he was in the "Hate Me Now" video. You know, Eddie Murphy'd out with the red leather. You know what I mean? QB chain, huge QB pendant, swinging. Had Beyonce, you know, in the "You Owe Me" video. Like, that man has made.
Why you had to mention that?
Hey, it happened, bro.
You could have just said he did "You Owe Me" with Genuine.
It happened.
And Timbo.
Had Beyonce dancing for him
bro.
and "You Owe Me."
That's crazy, bro.
Damn
Listen,
it, man.
So, man, there's nothing about Nas that has never not been commercial. You know what I mean? Like, there's definitely been stretches where, like, he steered away from the commercial limelight, but he's always been open to it. You know what I mean? This is just another one of those resurgences that he's had in his career where he's like, yo, fuck it, I'm gonna do Hennessy, I'm gonna do these soundtracks, I'm gonna, you know, be in these movies, I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna do everything.
So for the sake of clarity, you're saying not only is Nas, quote, going commercial, he been commercial.
He's never not been commercial. I don't think.
That's interesting. Mase, talk to me.
I'm gonna have to agree with Sin here. Honestly, because I think there's like a difference, right? Commercial is, I just looked at the definition again right before Sin started. It says concerned with or engaged in commerce, and I think Nas has always been worried about his bottom line. You feel what I'm saying? So I think there has to be like a little bit of there's like, the issue would be if he went pop. Correct? You know what I mean? You don't want your artist to his art to be compromised. You don't want him to be shooting for a certain sound. You don't want him to be, dressing up in shiny suits. You know what I mean? Like, it's a difference between going pop and going commercial. I think just like Sin just stated here, just like Job has kind of been trying to tell y'all for a minute, Nas was always a major record label artist. He was never a Mortal Technique, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was never a thing. Now, I think, and he's in the.
I want problems always.
Like, they really make it sound like he was on Raucous Lyricist Lounge Volume 1. You know what I mean? Like,
honestly, on some words shit. And it's like, I think the issue is that Nas has always been commercial, but maybe not the most popular commercial artist. So he ain't never been a Nelly or MC Hammer or, one of them type of dudes. So people are like, Nas ain't commercial. No, he absolutely is commercial. And there's nothing wrong with that because, like, at the same time, us as fans, we get hyped when we see Mass Appeal doing well. We get hyped when we see him on international tours, you know what I mean, being swarmed by fans. So, yes, he's commercial. It's never been a debate, you know what I mean? And I don't, like, Sin, you right, Job, you right. You know what I mean? He's not underground, guys.
The balance, the chef, what's happening? I don't know.
Yo, commercial is just a hard word for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying?
Right. There we go.
It just doesn't sound right.
You know what it is? It's because you have artists that their career is commercial. You know what I'm saying? If I make what would be considered underground music for the majority of my career, and every once in a while I'll pop out with something that the fans can enjoy on a larger scale, it just feels weird to hear me as a commercial artist from that. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, I heard Nelly. You know what I'm saying? Right. I think of Nelly, I think of commercial artists. I don't really think of Nas as commercial. I've actually watched Nas on TV deny commercials. You know what I'm saying? Remember the Coors Light back in the days, and he just wound up banging the phone on these niggas.
Right.
Just Nas has disassociated himself with so much shit in the past, and I think that's what makes this all the more beautiful, man. I think if there's anyone out there who needs to, not even needs to, but more like venture out and open the doors and spread their wings and fly, I think it is Nas, bro. Nas has been so true to the depiction of the culture, you know what I'm saying? Staying 10 toes down, not letting the man get at you, you know what I'm saying? Right. He's been like the icon and the face of like maybe the most underground, overground artist we've had, you know what I'm saying? The person
most underground commercial nigga. Just say it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Mainstream.
Most underground mainstream.
Commercial just is killing
like it.
All right, so I'm gonna throw this out there. Do we want to draw a line between certain terms, like pop, like Mase said, versus commercial versus mainstream?
Yes, I think mainstream is better. Like for instance, you make these great beats, you know what I'm saying? And would you say you're in the boom bap era with your shit? Your shit is more boom bappy?
Yeah.
All right. Now, if you make a trap joint, so now you a trap artist because you made one trap.
Not
10 trap joints as opposed to 100 boom baps.
I'll put it to you like this.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll put it to you like this. I think Pusha T is a good way to describe it. Pusha T is commercial, but he's not mainstream.
Okay.
I think that's the best way to look at this dynamic.
He gets a lot of commercial looks.
So I guess, you know what, y'all kind of said it, and I've been telling y'all for at least a year and a half now. Nas is not underground. Like, he's never been that. Stop lying to yourselves. He's a commercial act. He's been popular. He's been platinum. He's been platter a bunch of times.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of fans, and honestly, if the streaming numbers weren't so rigged, a lot of his record sales for recent projects, especially the KD series, might look a little different. Yeah. Because based on what Mase broke down about the streaming numbers and what the equivalencies are, I'm pretty sure 1 million people have these Nas albums. But based on the stream numbers, the shit gets fudged, right? So I guess I'll tweak the question then when I say commercial. With all of this, what he's doing, being an independent label, and make these appearances he's making, and where he's making it, and who he's making them with, is Nas on the verge of what they accuse Jay-Z for being a sellout for, as far as who he's standing next to and who he's working with? I'm just asking the question. Relax. It's just the question.
Great question.
Because that question is loaded as fuck.
Because I'm just saying, as he
baked potato with bacon and sour cream.
I'm just saying.
And fucking chives, everything.
That's what they asked for at the start.
As you venture off and you start to make more and more appearances, late night TV appearances, random features. Now you did joints at 21. You all soundtracks. Your face, you're a clickable item, magazine covers. All of these things that other guy does, the local celeb, he gets called a sellout.
If the local celebrity rapper gave a verse to Lil Nas X, we wouldn't hear the end of it.
We wouldn't. Not to say that Toby Wigwe is Lil Nas X, but all I'm saying is he walking the path of what other people get called a sellout for?
I think the notion and the feeling.
I'm not saying that he is.
I think the notion and the feeling amongst fans is that Nas did it the right way.
Wow.
Whatever the right way is, Nas did it the right way.
That's crazy.
You know what? And I had that thought about. I heard DJ Drama, but what is the right way? One of the mixtapes he was asking that shit, and that's all I thought of in my head just now. Like, what do you mean by that? You know what I'm saying?
Well, but I mean that.
All right, you got it.
Yeah,
you got it.
Whatever the right way is, like that's what Nas did. Like, I mean, I guess the notion is, you know, he didn't overtly seek, beyond the Steve Stout era, he didn't overtly seek a radio single. He didn't overtly, make club bangers. Like, he didn't overtly, he again organic. Like you had albums like I Am and Stillmatic where you had things like You're the Man. Poison, New York State of Mind 2, Ghetto Prisoners. Like, he still had his hits, but he wasn't overtly, it didn't feel like he was overtly seeking that mainstream pop spotlight.
Fair play.
You know what I mean?
Fair play. Y'all agree with that sentiment?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't think he is. Partially. Cook.
Nah, go ahead. Do your thing, bro. Do your thing.
I don't think.
I ain't trying to get nobody mad this early in the episode.
Then we're not doing the show. But it's like, I don't think that he is, but it's just interesting to see how outside he is and what he's doing. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not just him rhyming on some random low BPM beat for the fuck of it. Like, he's out here trying to get mass appeal seen to a mass audience.
Yeah.
Everything is intentional. Nas fans say that all the time. Everything Nas does is intentional. So if you think that these things he's doing it just for the love, especially building his own independent label, and you don't think he out here trying to build that bitch? So I'm just saying, I'm watching it and I'm like, if he ventures too far left for the Nas fan who believes that everything, not the spirit of what Nas does is the right way to do things, are y'all gonna feel away, or are you gonna take that ride with them? Chat, are you gonna take that ride with them, or are you gonna start judging some of the moves if it ever comes to that?
I think they'll do both. I think they'll take the ride and still judge the shadow everything he does.
I think I disagree slightly. At this stage in the game, 30 plus years in, I think his fans are pretty much set. They're gonna ride with him regardless of whatever move he makes.
Agreed.
And whatever move he makes, they're gonna be like, that's the right move.
Exactly.
I'm enjoying this discourse
every time. I'm telling you,
Nas is low key like, and don't take this as an insult. Like in the same way, Nicki Minaj fans will never say.
No,
like,
don't do that, man.
Sin.
All right, hold on.
Don't do that.
Wait,
Going left.
What
Don't do that.
What Mase is saying
Relax.
is the Nas fans, just like the Nicki fans, just like the whole
Beyonce fans, that's a good thing.
The fan bases
Fanatics.
of these artists are very staunch, and they will ride for their artists. But you saying they like Barbies is a little.
I didn't use the word. You know what I mean? I just thought of artists who have fan bases that's gonna follow them no matter what they do. Hey.
You know what I mean? You was out of pocket. But you was gonna say something. You leaving it alone?
I'll leave that.
No, because the Barbs are like especially like toxic, bro.
Right.
Like biased
They're
to
toxic.
the T.
They're like cyberbullying and shit.
We've been cyberbullied, son.
I mean, we cyberbullying. That's why they mad at us.
I'm a Tupac fan. We just as bad, bro.
That's really why some
We
of them get tight
cyberbully like a motherfucker.
They try to cyberbully us and then they get shot at back and they get mad. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Exactly.
That's not how this works.
Word.
What the?
He's funnier than me. Fuck.
Fuck, points were made.
But I'm still gonna watch.
Check your man, son.
Yeah, the fuck out of here, bro.
Man,
Yo, that
Yo,
right. Yo,
fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. Real shit. You should have checked.
Bro,
I cooked him bad too.
Bro,
Like, I really cooked
bro,
him.
I wasn't
mentioned
even
me
here
on,
for it. I'm
on
upset.
Twitter. He was like, oh, I know you don't know about this joint. You should have put this on your list of like unreleased Nas stuff.
Why?
I put it on the list of unreleased
did?
Nas.
Oh,
I did.
okay.
He missed it.
Be focused.
He's the fuck nigga. That's what you saying.
I was gonna reply. I was like, it's not even.
But this is what I'm saying.
man.
The
Page out of
peop-
your book.
Here you go.
Save
the
it.
people who are not doing their due diligence, they not reading, they not doing the knowledge. You just here to argue and nitpick. You will never hear from me again. I gave you a couple of good years. I'm only
Retiring the Mets hat?
No, Mets hat will never die. But it's only gonna surface for niggas who really I want to argue with, who got some shit to say. Like boom, like Coop. If Coop pop out and he got some shit to say, I'll always argue with that nigga. As an example, Sin even. I'm gonna argue with Sin.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Niggas like Nas the GOAT in the chat, Marcos, these niggas, I'm gonna argue with them.
Yeah.
But if you some random just here to hate, or when I check your comments, you never have anything good to say, I'm not saying nothing to you.
Yo,
That's it.
and that's the funny shit because people get offended, like when you clap back at them, and I'm like, bro, like I sit right next to this guy. Have y'all not seen how he claps at me?
The fuck?
And I clap back at him? Like, do you not see the interaction and conversations going on here?
Bro,
Brothers conversation.
well, there you
Here on Twitter, on Facebook, yo, go back in the archives, bro.
go. The fuck, bro? In the chat while the show is on. Like, the fuck is going on here, man? But again, it just goes to show you that those people, they never got spoken to in the barbershop. They sat in the corner.
Right.
They waited for their cut. And they didn't talk back. They laughed at a few jokes.
Got
and
skipped
might
by
have
a
got
few
skipped,
niggas.
They got skipped by a few niggas.
Shit.
You know how that
gets
goes.
nasty.
Meanwhile, niggas walking up and dapping your barber, and the whole conversation start. You lose your spot.
So while he had an appointment, no damn well that
Damn
nigga had
well.
no
Let me just get
appointment,
that shit real
bro.
quick. I'll be out in like 15 minutes.
Just showed up.
Facts.
Be out of here
Facts.
quick.
Y'all niggas,
y'all
I'm
were
not
not
talking to
trained.
y'all anymore. Word to mother.
Y'all
But
The
got
art
it.
of cutting ass.
But in the midst of this Nas discussion, there's a certain segment of Nas fans who represent a large segment of older hip hop. Now, this is not just a Nas fan, but what I'm saying is the mentality of that group and hip hop of, like, let's say 45 and up, they share a lot of the same sensibilities.
I'm
As far
almost there,
as-
bro. Careful. I'll be there in August.
You might be one of the good ones.
In this segment. You know, we did the live. Shout out to Leroy Green. The bars are sharp. But Leroy Green kind of represented a big problem that we talk about as far as pushing the culture forward and what that sounds like. He's saying that in the Hit Boy era, Nas had no hits. Then proceeded to say he wanted a Primo and Nas album. The most baffling argument that I've come across.
Yo, we
the
love you,
entire
Leroy.
year.
We love you, Leroy.
We
bro.
love you.
No, even.
In 2023.
Josh on the
We
side.
got love for you, Leroy.
Leroy, we love you. We said we gonna cook up the Leroy tape.
Yikes.
But that argument baffled me.
It did.
The most baffling argument of 2023. Hit Boy is not enough. Give me Primo.
No hits.
You know what I'm saying? So, but when you go across the culture, there's a lot of cats, and I don't think Leroy's 45, but his mentality damn sure is. You know what I'm saying? That in order for the culture to be good, it needs to sound like the shit that they listened to when they were kids, and they not even the hard shit that not forget the bullshit music. But there's niggas making real good music, like all Kendrick jokes aside. There's niggas 45, 50 years old say Kendrick is whack, and it's like, how, bro? What are you talking about? But then they'll tell me they want to hit, if Rakim dropped the album tomorrow, they will be on it.
Hey, all respect due to God, though. He came out. He came out for what was it? He came out for something recently.
Oh yeah. He came out for Summer Jam. Popped out with the lots.
Yeah.
One of y'all was in the chat, in our group chat. Was it you or Sin who dropped the Chino XL graphic? Saying
Had to be said.
Chino XL and who dropped the album?
It was Cannabis and Chino XL, bro. I was like, yo, bro.
Them same niggas were saying,
yo, the final bosses of the rappity rap, lyrical miracle.
The same
Them niggas made at the top of the pyramid,
yo,
bro.
come on, bro. They would say Kendrick is whack, but will be hyped for the Chino XL and Cannabis album.
Right.
And have big opinions about the culture. They don't want to hear Griselda. They don't want to hear Kendrick. They absolutely hate Drake. Kenny Mac, one of them niggas in the chat.
Bro.
Drake make music for suckers and whatever the case. J. Cole is
me
not
a sucker
this.
the whole episode,
Right,
man.
right. And it's like, I'm really starting to feel like the older heads, because I'm an old head, the older heads are a big problem with evolving the culture. They don't want it to evolve. They want it to go back in time. And I think that's a problem for the evolution the next 50 years of hip hop. So, I done bloviated a lot. Deanie, I'm coming back to you. What do you feel about the older heads and their perspective of where the culture is?
I mean, you covered it, man. With any art form or any culture, you got your traditionalists. You got your people that want things to pretty much be the way there is, because to them, their era is the greatest era there was. You know what I'm saying? I guess I'm a burgeoning old man, I guess, because I feel that way about 90s hip hop. I feel like you can't really.
We the same age.
You know what I'm saying? You're burgeoning too, nigga.
You right.
Like, 90s hip hop to me is like the greatest it ever was. You know what I'm saying? 2000s had some great shit. 80s had great shit. Not knocking nobody's hustle. But to me, like, 90s like spoke to my soul, because that's my era. But I can understand how a dude that's 20 today, here's the young boy. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make room. You gotta let anything grow. And you might not like sometimes where it goes. But that is the part of the evolution. And you gotta let that happen, because we wouldn't have got 90s hip hop if we didn't get 80s hip hop. You know what I'm saying? You need everything to do what it does to get, and there's gonna be some Gucci gang type shit that comes out of it.
Come on, bro.
You know what I'm saying? There is. There's gonna be some mid-level shit, and that's gonna really spark the old heads' frustration.
You triggered me just now.
Yo,
Gucci Gang shit.
yo, it's a terrible song.
That was pretty garbage.
But you seen the reaction to this shit. You get what I'm saying? It's gonna speak to its audience, and I think everyone has their own liking, their era, and it's hard for me to argue, because I want to fight these niggas at the same time, but I want to hug some of these niggas. They need a hug, man. They gotta let these young artists do what they do. People gotta grow, and I'm letting the culture grow, man. I'm here for the young artists.
Talk to me, Mase.
Listen, man, like, at the end of the day, and I don't mean to get like bring it to a slightly political type of level, or you know what I mean. Y'all could singe off. Y'all cut this as need be.
Yeah, okay.
But I hate to see the way the old heads have went out, bro. I really hate it.
Wow.
That whole like boomer energy they giving,
bro.
and it's
crazy.
in the music.
Gen X,
Gen X is giving boomer energy. Yes.
bro.
So my whole thing is
bro.
like,
Gosh, cut
That's
his mic
crazy.
down. Yo, we
Like,
don't got.
it comes
we
down
don't got
to-
Josh
to-
mute right now.
Wow.
listen, it comes down
I wanna
to
mute this nigga right
from
now.
music to goddamn respectability politics. You know what I mean? Gen X's are the new damn boomers, bro.
Yo.
It's like y'all don't remember.
Y'all said niggas is going outside?
Sad, bro. Sad.
Wow.
The same niggas who was screaming about. I remember I was a little tight back then. And y'all niggas used to be screaming about C. Dolores Tucker, and y'all used to be screaming about Al Gore and George Bush, and how niggas didn't understand y'all, and this and this and that and this and that. And now y'all are the old niggas telling the young people that they shit is trash. Every old nigga thinks the next shit is whack. A motherfucker who grew up listening to Stevie Wonder will look you in your face and tell you Biggie Smalls is garbage music. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to understand that there's always going to be a generational gap. But I was expecting that the generation that brought hip hop along was going to be different than the 10 generations before them. So to watch the people who started the game, the niggas who had Public Enemy blasting out of their shit, that was talking that wild shit with Ice Cube that you can't even write in lyrics anymore, or you might get Kanye'd. You know what I mean? The same niggas who listened to this music growing up is now telling us, yo, you know what I mean? Y'all youngins don't know this, or y'all youngins don't know that. I thought y'all would understand the next generation, bro. So I'm a little bit ashamed by how the older generation is going out. But, you know, maybe y'all will prove me wrong in a couple years. I doubt it.
Get rid of this guy.
Facts.
He one of them.
Listen, man, I don't know what my rap roundtable brethren is talking about right here, man. Here's the thing. Albeit I can't speak for all the old, not the entire old head community. I can only speak for myself. Myself, who's a Nas fan, but also a Kanye fan, but also a Kendrick fan. Those are 3 different generations. You know what I mean? So I have followed the trajectory of hip hop and the evolution of hip hop, but the things that I've held dear from this genre and this music and this culture, like that's remained consistent. I feel, right, for myself. Right? There are some people that will, you know, listen to a Kendrick or J. Cole and be like, that's trash. Once upon a time, I kind of fronted on J. Cole, but then he ascended to the standards that I felt I had as an MC, right? And ultimately, I think that's where this comes from, is a set of standards. And and shout out to Danny Brown, who spoke on this recently on his show, literally called the Danny Brown Show. It's not that we hating, it's just that we have a certain standard of quality. You know what I mean? Not just quality in terms of talent, but quality in terms of bodies of work and bodies of music, like full albums. You know what I mean? And so, when we listen to certain music out of today's artists, they're like predominantly like it all feels and seems microwavable. You know what I mean? And there's not an awful lot of thought going into how am I going to make this song into an album? How am I going to make this album into a fruitful career? It's all about like the instant gratification of what can I do? How much can I get out of this right now? And it's not all their fault. That's where the culture, that's where all culture is. That's where, social media and the internet has taken us. But that's what it is. You know what I mean? I'll take it a step further. And I think I've made this analogy before, a long time ago, but I think a lot about like what 80s rock music was like, and the hair band, hair metal era. Like all of that shit is fucking disposable. You know what I mean? People will listen to that and have that nostalgic feeling like, oh, I used to listen to Poison and Rat and Skid Row and all that. But like when it comes down to like timeless music, none of those bands are mentioned. None of their albums are mentioned outside of maybe Guns N' Roses. Outside of that, like none of that shit is mentioned. And what us older heads are trying to prevent this younger generation from going through is that stage in music, that stage in culture. Like we want better for y'all. We don't want you to make this like forgettable, disposable music that nobody's really gonna regard in high esteem in the future. We want better for y'all. That's where we're coming from.
Shit, this nigga said spitting, boy. So I see everybody's perspective, and don't get me wrong. All kidding aside, Mase made some solid points because in some regards, I kind of agree with some of the things he says because I found myself arguing with older cats, even since sometimes about his point of view of some of the younger acts. And I feel like whereas 25 years ago, there was like our culture was definitely more overall like this is where it's at and we want to get it there. We wanted to see our bigger heads take it as far as they can. I feel like somehow along the way that got lost. And now it's like our shit is better. Now our shit is better. I don't know if that's just because it's the evolution of the musical genre that is rap to where like, you know, rock and roll they had similar arguments about who started what or who it belonged to or whatever before our time. Maybe this is just the next evolution of what that argument was for our parents. You know what I mean? Like some white guys making rock and roll, but the black dude started it. You know what I mean? Like there's Jimi Hendrix and there's Elvis. You know what I'm saying? Like who you really you want the essence or you want the copycat? Shit like that. But where Mase lost me was the whole idea that overall the people from the 90s are the problem because it lacks nuance. Yeah, they're hard-headed and they don't give shit a fair shake. Because I always say like, y'all niggas talk like everything in the 90s was 5 mics. There was a lot of whack shit in the 90s. There's a lot of songs where you can hit the skip button in the 90s. But I feel like the essence got lost. You didn't mention that in your argument. You know what I'm saying? Because, yeah, this is self-destruction as a song. Public Enemy said some wild shit, probably, but they had a lot of real shit to talk about. Nah, man, with Batman voices rapping, you know what I'm saying? There was a thoughtfulness to the approach to the culture 20, 30 years ago. And I think that if these young guys approached it with the same thoughtfulness, a large majority of the older heads will fuck with it. Even if they don't think it's as good as, they will fuck with it because the thought and the care to preserve what was established was there. You know what I'm saying? I ain't talking to those guys. I'm talking to the niggas who hear high level shit in this day and age and call it whack.
Yeah.
But want to go to a spot with a room full of man and listen to some average shit. You dig? Them niggas is a problem. Mase started some shit, and I am that because we talk about some of the young niggas I hated, some of the drill shit I hated. You know what I'm saying? But I'll give it a fair shake before I trash it. But y'all dudes with the South Pole sweats and the mountain gear Timbs, not the actual Timberland boots.
Lugs joints.
The lugs joints. Y'all niggas are a problem. Y'all are a hindrance to the culture because you're a hater and you got bum ass nigga tendencies. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Y'all got bum ass nigga tendencies.
And to bring it full circle, because I don't want to seem like I'm hating on all the old
Nah,
heads.
you stand on your fucking square, man.
I'm about to get them. Don't worry. I do agree with a sentiment that y'all shared, that maybe the shit is not as all around as it once was, right? That and that was basically the lawlessness of a new genre.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like Sin mentioned, we had 80s hair metal, but 80s hair metal gave way to 90s grunge and 2000s indie rock. Shit got better. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you gotta give the youngins room, because at the end of the day, when we were listening, you know, to Nas at like 20 years old, 40-year-old niggas weren't listening to that. You know what I mean? It didn't reflect their shit. So we can guide them, but to just act like what they do is garbage is just the same shit that they did to us.
It's a fact. And then, you know, yeah, evolution argument is right. I just want to piggyback on that because if you think about what trap kind of evolved from that snap era and what trap started as to where what trap is now to where we're going full circle to where Southern rap sounds like Southern rap from when we were younger. You got to give them time to evolve the sound and fine tune it, because a few years ago, my man, I got 42 Doug wouldn't be around. Pooh Shiesty wouldn't be around because they would have been considered, quote, the Griselda of their region.
Real talk.
You know what I'm saying? Because niggas wanted to party and make bullshit like Gucci Gang. Yeah. So a 42 Doug or Shiesty would have been too hard for that time, but the time has evolved to where you can have some hard shit that's still kind of trappish, but
Still
fine
making people
tuned.
move. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I see both sides of the argument, but to the bum ass niggas, Stop being haters. Elevate.
The old heads.
I'm coming to sin with this topic.
Oh shit.
Cooks in.
Flame on.
Saw on Twitter there was an argument about two all-time wordsmiths in hip-hop history.
Yeah.
All time. There's no argument. I don't give a fuck what you say about any one of them. As far as being wordsmiths of the
No
space,
question.
top 5 maybe.
No question.
Maybe top 3.
Hey, watch out. Tyler,
Maybe.
Tyler might be watching.
Oh,
Man.
whoa,
Yo,
wow.
it's enough of the top fives.
That's
Yeah,
crazy,
about to
bro.
No more
piss him
top
off,
fives,
man.
goddammit.
But on Twitter, there was an argument about these two artists, and I said, you know what, this is not bad. We should talk about it on the Rap Round Table. Black Thought or Slim Shady himself, Eminem.
Mm-hmm.
Who's nicer? Since it raps now, the floor is yours.
I don't think there should be any argument here. It's Black Thought.
What?
It's Black Thought.
Zero arguments. Sis?
I don't want to
I
hear
want
no
problems always.
I don't want to hear no arguments about this. Black Thought, bro. Listen, look. Once upon a time, from like 98 to 2003, 5 years, it might have been Eminem.
Okay.
Beyond that, I don't really see the argument here. Black Thought was nicer than Eminem before Eminem came in the game, and he's been nicer since Eminem fell off, which was a good at least 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. So I'm going with Black Thought. Look, Black Thought has a place within the hearts of hip hop culture, the fans, the real shit fans, like that's undeniable. Like that shit is not going anywhere, right? Eminem, he has a place in certain hearts, but it's really just
What does that have to
The
do with who's
stands.
nicer?
no. I'm just saying. So I feel like, are we talking about who's nicer or who has
Who's
a better
nicer?
legacy? Who's nicer? Today, if we're talking about today, Black Thought. It's Black Thought.
I think both questions are valid though. Yeah, but Sin,
All right.
but Sin,
So what I
I just want to hear Sin cook, bro.
So what I was trying to get at.
about it.
So what I was trying to get at is that like Black Thought is still repping for the culture, bro. Like every year he has a Roots picnic. Every year he goes on stage and he tears that stage down. He has the freestyles. He has projects that he's putting out that are acclaimed within the hip hop audience. Like Eminem fell off like fucking years ago, bro. Like there's nobody that's checking for Eminem projects other than his already built-in fan base that doesn't want to let go of the fact that Eminem fell off a long time ago. Like, y'all remember the last acapella freestyle that Eminem kicked? That cringy shit where he was like, like making sound effects.
I thought that
and
shit was a skit, bro.
Bro, like you put Black Thought in front of a microphone, he's tearing that shit down to this day.
Pause.
He's had 30 years in this game, and he has not lost. Not only has he not lost a step, he might be better today than when he first picked up a mic. It's Black Thought all day, every day.
I feel like you are not the nigga that asked this question.
Well, you went to me first, so
I was hoping you was gonna, that nuance you love to talk about.
Nope.
And the objectivity you love to
Nope.
talk about. I figured you would have led with that.
nope.
All right. Fuck
You
it.
thought wrong.
I did. So you know what? The answer is Eminem, bro. Eminem is flat out nicer than Black Thought. Bro. Flat out.
Yeah.
This is me.
Dog with the fastball.
Fuck that, bro. Like, what are we talking about here, bro? Like, sin. Like,
The fuck are you talking
If
about?
we talk about bar for bar, word for word, syllable for syllable,
Right.
M is nicer than Thought. Eminem
was nicer than Thought once upon a time.
Eminem could wrap circles around Black Thought right now. Just
Never.
because
Never.
Just because Black Thought go circles. Just because the nigga Black Thought wakes up with the dictionary app sending him notifications every morning for a new word to put in a fucking bar doesn't make him nicer than Eminem, bro. And this is me. Eminem is not my man's. Y'all know that. Y'all watch the show. Y'all know Eminem is not my man's. I don't jack Eminem at all. You know what I'm saying? But if we just talking about flat out who's nicer, what are we talking about? Just because a nigga go in a fucking dictionary and give you some dictionary bars, don't make the nigga nicer than M.
I need another drink, yo.
That shit
Pour, drink.
Look. Black Thought was not the one that was looking up like what rhymes with orange.
So what?
Wow.
Oh wow.
Like literally looking that up.
That's what we doing? That's
bro.
what we doing?
That's crazy, bro.
Even with orange and door hinge, he's still fucking better than Black Thought. Black Thought is great. You know what I'm saying? And if we talk about legacy, all right, yeah. For the cultural aesthetic, of course, it's Thought. But the same nigga that Sincere loves to talk about, the same niggas that we give Sincere credit for bringing to the table, Eminem is a nigga who gave them niggas that light. Eminem is the only nigga who's really here for the spitters. He's giving a lot of spitters the opportunity.
And they saw through the bullshit too.
Yeah.
They left.
That don't got nothing to do with who's nicer. Eminem.
So why you brought it up then?
I'm just saying, you said the culture. So I'm saying the cultural argument.
Right.
He put niggas on for the lyrics, the bars.
He did.
He's out rapping Black Thought. Black Thought has no shot against Eminem in a rapping situation. The chat got and agree with Sing because they love Black Thought. They don't like Eminem. I don't care. Eminem got it.
Dean, what's up?
Deanie.
Yo, don't ban me from the Roots picnic, y'all. I'm sorry, man. I gotta go with Shady.
Talk about it.
He sound disappointed, dude.
You know, because Black Thought is you know what it is? I'm gonna keep it a buck, man. To me, Black Thought and hip hop is like the Spurs. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm gonna get a great.
Don't do that.
Nah, what's wrong? Five rings?
Niggas say you're a textbook rapper.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know,
cook.
Straight from the Alamo.
Go ahead.
He basically say them niggas go to the dictionary to find textbook bars.
I know I'm gonna
Bank
get a
shot
great
bars.
Turn around, bank shot.
I know the system's gonna be right. I know the offense is gonna be
around.
Nobody,
Background,
no
background.
sauce in them bars at all.
offense gonna be functional.
Functional.
You know what I'm saying? I know certain things are gonna be in place. The coach is gonna be accurate. You know what I'm saying? The acumen gonna be accurate. But to me, Eminem's more like, and this might sound crazy. Remember when White Chocolate was on the Kings?
Wow.
And it was just entertaining.
Jason Williams?
Yeah, you remember when it was entertaining.
Jason Williams actually was trash. If you look at his stats.
From an entertainment standpoint, from an
entertaining,
entertaining
but
standpoint. You know
Look
what
at
I'm
that
saying?
basketball
That's not the
references.
personality.
Suspect.
From
man.
an entertainment standpoint.
Tonight's
I
entertainment.
would have used Jason Kidd, but he's way more flashy than J Kidd. So, but from an entertainment standpoint, J Kidd always gave you something that when you paid for, you got to see something.
Right.
Was he the most accurate? No. Is Eminem the most accurate? No. You know what I'm saying? But it was entertaining. And I feel like Eminem's always been as entertaining as you can be while being a lyricist. You get what I'm saying? I love Black Thought. Salute. Love what you did with the Roots, but is Black Thought the most entertaining MC? You know what I'm saying? That I gotta go listen to this new Black. Well, I can't talk to you about this. but did you say, that new when Danger Mouse should drop? Did you say, that new Black Thought?
Yeah.
Gotta hear it.
Let me tell you what happened. Like, I was working a lot of hours.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I was like doing like 13 and 14 hour shifts. And then I was like, you know what? I was having insomnia. So I was like,
shit.
This Black Thought and Danger Mouse
Damn.
will get me right.
God damn.
Hey, that was
It's an Adderall.
Boo this man.
It's an Ambien, bro. You didn't put you to sleep. Melatonin bars. It's great. He's a great artist, man. But
That Tylenol Tariq.
Eminem was the great white hope for niggas, man.
I hate y'all niggas.
Yo,
I hate y'all so much.
you can't deny it, bro. Eminem made a lot of niggas a believer. You know, like from just everything he did, man. We gotta stop trashing M, man. M was like the.
I'm not trashing
We
him.
gotta keep trashing.
I'm just honest about the window of time when he was actually elite.
For the great things he did, they were exceptional.
Listen, Eminem had a higher high.
Very higher high.
Higher high. But overall, Black Thought, 30 years. Eminem, 25 years.
But that's my thing. As an MC, Black Thought could probably out-rap the overall majority of all MCs.
Right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
what we talking about.
But you're listening to that, though. You get what I'm saying? Like, you could be the nicest nigga that nobody want to hear. No disrespect.
Man, like.
That don't count for something?
I listen, I go back to those Roots albums all the time.
Let me stop talking to him again. I'm back to you. But you understand what I'm talking
I
about?
understand, Dan.
Do you go back and say, hey, let me go listen to the solo Black Thought projects?
Here's the thing.
I'm sure you went back and listened to the Roots.
Y'all missed the Roots era. That's like, what happened? What I missed? Fuck.
You ain't shit.
I don't want peace.
You gotta go there first.
I want problems always.
God damn it, man. saying? Go
All right.
ahead.
I'm sorry, man.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Tariq. I'm just gonna say, like, I hate the jumps in, man, but welcome to Death Row, bro. Like, this is definitely M, man. Like, and honestly, Black Thought, epitome of a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as his rapping skill, I have nothing to ever denigrate about him. Like, it's Black Thought. Like, even talking crazy about how he is as a rapper, you look like you don't know what the fuck you talking about. You know what I mean?
Talk, Mase.
But it's like, man, M got classic songs. You know what I'm saying? He got classic verses, classic album. You know what I'm saying? He got moments. It's like M is like the nigga. M is like when the 80s drug dealer come back on your block and tell you about the millions he made and you being awed. And Black Thought is the nigga who, you know what I mean? You never even knew sold drugs. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a difference, bro. Like,
disrespectful, bro. Time out, bro.
You saying that fucking
out.
Eminem is fucking, what's his name again?
Eminem like motherfucking Alpo or some shit.
What's it? Wait, time out. What is from Snowfall?
Franklin.
Yeah.
So Eminem is Franklin.
You feel me?
And Black Thought is Leon.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, I get it's been a while, but bro used to really get to it. You feel what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. So
he did it at a higher level. That's what you saying?
At a higher level, bro. At a higher level, man.
Why did Eminem get that look though?
Because he was nice.
That's the only reason.
He got the look because he was nice. He moved.
No. He got the opportunity because he was nice.
We ain't talking about Paul Wall though.
He got the look.
Mac Miller.
He's right. We know that.
All right.
Shout out to Walter.
Salute to Mac.
Sorry, Walter.
Shout out to Walt, the homie.
Salute to Walt. Yo, there's been a few white cats that were like beasts though. Eminem just happened to be one of those white cats that was just super sick.
Come on, bro.
Endorsed by arguably, like, you can argue with the greatest rap producer of all time. You can argue it. You can argue Dre.
easily.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And endorsed also by the biggest act of maybe the early 2000s. I mean, that's major. 11 million albums sold.
It was more the other way around. 50 was endorsed by Eminem.
True. And you're right. Actually, you're right. Yeah. But nonetheless, you get what I'm saying though? It's a big deal, bro.
They're not
D12.
I mean that tie plays into it. But ultimately, y'all making my
because of Eminem.
But y'all making my point. Ultimately, like it was the ties that he had that really.
But the music had to stand too, though.
The bar, he got there because of the
bars.
bars.
No, he got there because of the bars. But then when the bars fell off, like the longevity that he's had in his career.
So Rap God didn't hit?
Come on, bro. You heard it like I heard it, man. Like
midfield.
There's only one type of person. Listen, look.
There's a few gems in that catalog.
Yeah, I went to this gathering. I went to this gathering. It was mostly them type of people.
Them type of people.
Them folks.
And one of them knew that I had a rap podcast.
I don't want peace.
I
want problems
and
always.
This was around that time, and the first thing that came out to me was like, "Yo, have you heard Rap God?" Oh my god!
Wow.
Yo, because I didn't want to get into it.
Are you gonna talk about it on your podcast?
I was just like, yeah, it was great.
He's so good.
I thought Rap God was tough when it first dropped, but that's when the Purple Bags of Sour was on the street.
Heavy, the best
sour. It was a different time, bro.
The best sour.
Yo. You know who would have fucked with Rap God? Judas. I wonder if Judas liked it. Did Judas like that song?
Was that came out after he left the show?
I think that was before.
Yeah, Rap God's like 2013.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
The jacket, bro. That would be his shit. All right, so let's move on to the next topic.
Wait. I want to hear Josh's opinion. Josh, Black Thought Eminem. Oh, okay. He said he's from outside of Philadelphia.
Josh about to whoop our ass.
Sorry, Josh.
It's all right, bro. It's all right.
Definitely got to be back.
Don't tell Black Thought we cooked him. All right.
We'll see you at the Roost Picnic next year.
Word.
Facts.
We'll be there. Shout out to State Property.
Facts.
So Tyler the Creator made a comment about being annoyed with top 5 lists because it's just a mechanism to keep people engaged. That was his quote. So, you know what? I'm going to go first with this segment. I'm not going to talk too much, but I'm going to go first. You're a rapper, right? if you rap, the purpose to rap is to keep people engaged by way of the quality of rap, beat selection, song making ability, etc. If I'm a talking head, which I am, on a podcast, or I'm a Twitter personality on the internet, the goal of both situations is to keep people engaged. So if I decide that, you know what, the space is kind of slow and I want to get people talking, I'm gonna make a fucking list. Now be clear, the Rap Roundtable doesn't necessarily love lists. If you notice Hip Hop 50, we've tried to stay away from the list. We only did the last list because it was requested by Mike D to do the list. But we had no plans of doing any lists this year because list culture, it comes with its own pitfalls. It has nothing to do with engagement. But don't knock the list makers' hustle. Shout out to Beats, Rhymes, and Lists. That nigga built a whole platform off of lists. To me, that was some corny shit that Tyler said. Like, I don't see the point in knocking a nigga for making top 5 lists. When Tyler was a nobody, talking about rap, I'm pretty sure he argued his favorite rappers, and there was a list of niggas who he think might be whatever level they're gonna be. I'm pretty sure he talks to his rich nigga friends. They still talk about who they are within a certain space. That was a corny statement by Tyler, and then to poo-poo niggas who love lists, even if we don't love lists, fuck out of here, bro. That's how I feel about that. I don't know. Mase, talk to me, bro. Like, when you seen that comment from Tyler, what did it make you feel?
Listen, man, if a bad chick make a top 5 most handsome nigga list and I'm not on the list, I'ma hate lists. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
there you go.
Tyler, you're not usually on the top 5 list, so I can understand. And that's no shot to him because we know artistically he's taking a big step forward. He's won Grammys. You know what I mean? I think his next album is going to be #1 with a fucking bullet. Like, Tyler is the most successful he's ever been as an artist, but he's not a guy who you say, hey, my top 5, Tyler the Creator, throw him in there. So, of course, he wouldn't be one who said, I fuck with lists. I'm sure Nas love lists. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, so
all the niggas who make lists love lists.
They love it. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, this is not some sort of, hey, you guys started making lists. Jadakiss, top 5 that are alive. Drake, one of his most famous ad-libs is top 5. Eminem's whole list, he spit as a bar and niggas make shirts out of it. Like, this is what we do, man. This is rap. You know what I mean? We're competitive men and women. You know what I mean? We want to, you know what I mean? This is what we do, man. Whether it's sports, whether it's music, this is what we do. It's fun, man. Like, you know what I mean? You're not any worse of a person. You know what I mean? If you're not in any top 5s, Tyler, it doesn't hurt your bank account. Let niggas have their top 5s, man. Now, while I agree with, you know, hey, the younger dudes might try to look better to older dudes by mentioning niggas they never grew up with. That's a whole other thing that hip hop got to deal with, where it seems like you don't have any honor as a hip hop fan if you don't know, you know, what when Rakim dropped Paid in Full, the day, the first single, the last verse, you know what I'm saying?
Wrote it.
That's a whole other thing, you know what I mean? But
they come to this podcast for that type of shit. And after 4 years, you figure out we're not historians.
Right.
We're fans.
We niggas that like music, bro. Like, just like y'all. So it's like, listen, man, like, that's, you know, if it's 5%, if it's 10%, if it's 20%, that's part of what makes this shit fun. Debating who you think is the best and debating who's in the top of the list. So Tyler, man, you rich and making music and you're in it. So I can imagine you taking it to heart. Like, damn, like, why niggas always gotta, you know, I spent 3 years on this album and you just making this shit down to, hey, you know what I mean? Your 5th best album, bro. I can understand you being mad about that, but we fans, man. You were a fan at one point. You probably still a fan. That's the shit we like to do, bro.
That's a fact.
Deanie.
I mean, bring it back to sports, man. If you spend your whole life, you know what I'm saying, trying to achieve a goal. Like, let's take like a Kwame Brown. You know what I'm saying?
Shit.
You spend your whole life trying to achieve a goal. You make it to the NBA. You're #1. You're selected by arguably the greatest player of all time. And you're still regarded as a bust. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that. I can see what he's saying as far as top 5 lists, because some lists are janky. And whenever you're going to discuss anything that's janky, it's always going to have a sour taste. But let's say we're having a real discussion. Top 5, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Let's say I say top 5 Tyler songs. Would you think he would have an argument or a problem? There you go. You know what I'm saying?
That shit.
Like you said, he's just not a part of those lists. But those lists are great to me. especially when they're based in accuracy, you know what I'm saying, historical value, validity, like shit that you tell me Nas is your favorite rapper. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be hard for a nigga to argue that. Yeah, somebody might think there's maybe a better artist they like to listen to, but to say that not
That's our whole relationship.
You know what I'm saying? But to make the argument he's better would be a hard argument to make. And I think that's where the power of a list comes from, in making those arguments, having those discussions. Like, why do you think Kobe is top 3 to ever play the game? And you break down the reasons why. And then that
Top
other
one,
person,
but okay.
and you break down whatever reason you have, and that's where the discussion, those gems that get brought up, the failures that the person had, the successes that the person had, like everything accumulates into a big discussion, which just, to me, pushes the culture forward. So
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I'm not to cut you off, but isn't public opinion a big part of hip hop culture?
It's prime to the fucking genre, bro.
Okay.
Like, we look at the shit we rap about all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's who's like the whole shit. Who's better? Hove's whole shit is who's better. And I think a lot of artists in hip hop try to translate that. They just don't that way. But I mean, you can't take away that power, man. You can't take away the power from a good list, man. A good list. How many great conversations have we had on and off air about a great list?
Shit.
As long as, like I said, the shit was valid, the validity of the list. Maybe that's what he was talking about. The validity of a list.
Think about it. We had Ransom talking about our list.
Facts.
When we didn't put him number 1, we had Nas number 1.
Exactly.
He felt the way about that. So lists matter.
It does matter. But I mean, Nas had a great year that year.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Look, man, all my brothers covered it. Like Mase said, you know what I mean? If you're not making those lists, maybe you might feel some type of way about it. But at the end of the day, this is hip hop, and hip hop is competitive. And like I feel like there's a certain segment of the generation that might want to separate the competitive nature of hip hop away from hip hop and just be like,
everybody gets a trophy type shit.
yeah, not everybody gets a trophy type shit, but why are we so competitive? Like, why? Like, no, like I've heard the argument like no other genre does this, no other genre puts like, you know, who's the best rock artist of all time, who's the best jazz musician of all time, like that. But you know, like that's what makes hip hop different and separate from all these other genres. It grew out of this feeling of competition and feeling of wanting to be number one. Like, competition is everywhere, you know what I mean? But only hip hop is really like truly honest about it. You know what I mean? Every single jazz musician wanted to be the best jazz musician. You can't say that through a fucking saxophone note. You know what I mean? You can't say it through guitarists can't say it through a guitar note. You know what I mean? But MCs, we can say that, right? You know what I mean? And so like I feel like there's a certain segment that would like to separate the competitive aspect of hip hop out of hip hop, and it's just you can't separate the two. It's hip hop is what it is, and as long as hip hop artists are trying to be number one, the best, we're gonna keep talking about who's the best. Mm-hmm. And if they're not the best, where do they rank? Are they number 2, number 3, number 5, number 10? Where they at? You know what I mean? It's gonna be an ongoing conversation, man. It's like going to a barbershop and telling everybody to stop talking about everything that you talk about. Yo, who's the best athlete? Who's the best rapper? What's the best cereal? What's the best video game? But like that's literally like everything.
That's culture.
Come on, man.
Imagine going to the barbershop and it's like, you know, I think Nikola Jokic is the best player in the game. And the barber next to you was like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. The dude ready to get cut. Like, you know what? You're right too. You're right. He's the best.
Hive mind of,
you know what I'm saying?
Why are we even talking about who's
right.
best? Like,
and you know what?
Just let them play.
Corny.
I love what you just talked about with the competitive aspect. Before I go to the next segment, I want to just get this off. Second place trophy energy has no business in hip hop. And if you bring in that second place trophy or everybody deserves their flowers equally, get the fuck out of here. Hip hop will always be, rap specifically, will always be about who's the best. Who did it, if not who's the best, who did it the best? Who did it with digits? Who did it with the critical acclaim? There's tiers for everything. And if you got a problem with top 5 lists, to Mace's point, if Tyler was top 5 on everybody's list, he would have never said that.
Facts.
But because he sees so many top 5 lists, top 10 lists even, and his name is not there, he has a problem with it. When you was running around doing the shit you was doing, not rapping, you took yourself out the conversation.
Yeah.
You just got you dropped that tape with DJ Drama and you got back in the conversation. If you follow it up again and there's a general consensus that Tyler the Creator is a top 5, top 7, top 10 act, he'll never talk about lists again. In fact, he'll start talking even more shit on the internet about how dope he is. He has that chip on his shoulder, and it's your own fault, bro. You didn't take rap serious enough because you always had the skill set, and that's the shit that like, I didn't see niggas push back on him against that. Tyler always had the ability to be good, but he played with it.
Yeah.
From the Odd Future era all the way until right before Call Me Before You Get Lost, he played with his ability. He was always nice. And if he would have treated it as an ability and a muscle that you build up, he'd have been on everybody's list.
But I feel like that segment of the population that him and Odd Future represented, they don't take anything serious.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But he started taking rap serious and now he resents lists. Go figure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's your own fault.
Right.
Yeah, great album.
Tyler, you came behind. You talk about your influences being Kanye, Pharrell, and Eminem. 3 people who all made it clear that they wanted to be the absolute best in their field. Like, you know about the competitive energy, bro.
That's why you nailed it, Mase. He's not on nobody's list. He's not top 5 on anybody's list, so he don't fuck with it. Anyway, shout out to the homie Tony the Dome, another family of the rap roundtable friend of the show. He threw out a tweet there where he was mentioning that we never got the 3 Stacks solo run, but with Kendrick's rap career, he sees so many elements of 3 Stacks that he feels like Kendrick Lamar represents what a solo run from 3 Stacks would have looked like by way of Kendrick. It was a fire tweet. Shout out to Tony. Sin, I come to you specifically for this. Do you see the vision in Tony's tweet?
Yeah, shouts to Tony, man. There's a lot of tweets that, not necessarily the tweets that's like, just kind of stating the somewhat obvious, but there's definitely certain tweets that I see from him that's the insight that he has. I fucks with it. Like, I align with it, like 100%. And this is one of those times. The first time that I really like started digging into Kendrick on Good Kid, Mad City.
I almost let that slide.
Damn, man. God damn it. Yo. The fire. When I first started, listening to Kendrick, it was Good Kid, Mad City. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try to get shit up. Go ahead. Y'all done? Y'all finished?
He said he dug into that.
Yo,
bro.
My Lord. Gotta put a T on that, Lord. Sheesh.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Auntie's a man now.
Damn it.
Yeah, I hate y'all. All right.
Yo.
But when I first started, really listening to Kendrick's material, and it wasn't, like a lot of people will go back to Section 80. I'll admit, I was not sold on Section 80, but it was Good Kid, Mad City that really made me pay attention.
Same.
And specifically, the art of peer pressure. And there was something in the way,
Great record.
Yeah, there was something in the way that he told the story, the descriptiveness, but also in the flow and the pocket. I was like, bro, that's Andre. And it was weird because like I would hear other people talk about the influences that they heard, and then I would also hear him talk about his influences, right? Like Snoop Dogg, Mos Def, Pac. Obviously, he's influenced by Pac, but I would never hear Andre come up in the conversation, and I'm like, nobody else hears Andre but me. Like, that's crazy. And this is where, my brothers always get on me about like, yo, you never really talked about Andre, but he was always like in the back of my mind because like as soon as I heard Kendrick, I was like, yo, this is what I wanted out of Andre, yo. And then fast forward through the rest of his career, To Pimp a Butterfly, like the topics that he touched on, the eclecticness of the sound, the risks that he took through Damn and into Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, even the Untitled album, like all those risks, all those different, like, messing with different sounds and everything. I was like, yo, this is really what I wanted to hear out of Andre if he would have taken his rap career seriously, or not even take it seriously, but if he would have moved forward with his rap career. But to each their own. Like that was his path. But definitely Kendrick is, to me, also as well as Tony the Dome, what I would have liked to see out of Andre 3000 if his rap career would have continued.
Specifically, I want to hear from Dini on this topic. What do you think about that?
I do hear some similarities. The way the laid back flow, the cadence, the storytelling aspect. I don't know if it would per se had turned out if Dre kept making music. I think Dre was way more quirky. You know what I'm saying? And Kendrick's quirky, but I think Dre's even more quirky. So I really don't know what we would have got out of that. Like Bombs Over Baghdad era shit. You know what I'm saying? That equipment. What's that? Stankonia?
Stankonia.
Like that was veering to a different kind of sound. You know what I'm saying? So I really don't know what Andre. Like maybe Andre would have been rapping that shit we got from Keem and K-Dot the other day, like on some cowboy hat shit. I don't know.
I can,
you know what I'm saying? But in terms of skill, like when he was on his, like the first album, the first real album, Good Kid, Mad City, there was some similarities to the things I really appreciate about Andre. So I can see what y'all saying, but I don't know. Andre sometimes go a little too left, so I don't know. We would have might have got tap dance rap or some shit with Drake. Who knows?
He's in Japan wearing the same overalls and the same Jordans.
Playing violins and some shit, right? He was
years with his.
So he's a little different.
Flute,
I don't know.
So who knows?
Exact flute.
All I'll add to this segment is when I hear like the voice changes from Kendrick, especially Good Kid, Mad City era. What was the name of the album again? To Pimp a Butterfly. Slightly to a lower degree, Section 88. If he told me personally that 3 Stacks was his favorite rapper, I would believe him wholeheartedly.
Absolutely.
Because it's of that vein.
Yeah.
And I see where Tony is going, because it's like the flow, the way he rhymes, the way he structures his bars. It was Andre 3000.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like Sin said it. I know when I got exposed to Kendrick, it was a lot of Nas comparisons as far as his descriptiveness, his storytelling ability, a little bit of Tupac, but I never heard anybody, like Sin said, talk about 3 Stacks, when to me, his entire skill package is Andre 3000 in California.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I can see the comparison. You know what I mean? But I don't agree with Tony as far as this is what it would sound like, because I feel like the difference between Kendrick and 3 Stacks is Kendrick is still very much a rapper. And the other side of his Gemini twin is competitive rapper. Whereas to me, 3 Stacks is artistic as fuck. And I don't even know if he would have made a rap album. It would have been an album with some rap, some singing, some left field shit, some soca. You just don't know.
You really don't know.
Kendrick still wants to be the nicest. I don't think 3 Stacks ever really cared about being the nicest. He knew he was dope as fuck, but he didn't put a lot of stock in being the nicest. And I think that's where they would have diverged as artists.
That's true.
Mace, you got anything to add to it?
Smoking on top 5.
Yeah,
there you go.
I think shouts to Tony the Dome, one of the dudes on rap Twitter that gets shit popping on a daily. Shouts to Tony. But I think this is kind of selling Kendrick short, to be honest with you, to say, hey, if Andre gave a fuck, he could have been Kendrick. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so I'm like, Kendrick has, objectively one of the greatest rap careers that we've ever seen. You know what I mean? The fuck all you old head niggas that talk about, hey, he ain't doing enough. Man been putting in more than 10 years of pain at this point, which is more than Rakim and Big Daddy Kane did for you old motherfuckers. But
shit.
Cold-blooded.
Be honest here.
Shit.
But I'm just saying, like, I think
want
it's
problems,
we're selling
always.
Kendrick always. I feel like we're selling Kendrick short. Like, Kendrick's career is not just some every fly-by-night. Cannabis couldn't have been Kendrick. You know what I mean? It's a lot of niggas that we said was gonna be that nigga that Kendrick surpassed. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kendrick I wouldn't say he was a hype guy like a 50 or like a Cannabis I mentioned, but he came up under Dre. He came up under that umbrella. TDE was making a lot of noise. Like, if you remember that era, Section 80 was very big. ADHD was very big. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not just going to give Andre 3000 that credit that if, hey, you know, obviously the skill set is there. You know what I mean? The talent as a group. But when Prodigy went solo, did he automatically become better than Jay-Z? No, it's tougher than you think, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that we should just say, hey, you know, Andre could have been Kendrick if he did. Nah, man, it would have took a lot, because if he broke off, who would he have been working with? You know what I'm saying? Think about the era, think about the time, think about, you know what I'm saying, in that era, what Southern rapper was really that nigga? Scarface and nobody else. You know what I mean? So I don't think that we can just say, hey, he could have been Kendrick. You know what I mean? Nah, I'm not with that, to be honest.
And to put a cherry on that, if you have Andre 3000, and to go back to lists, if you have Andre 3000 on your top 5 list, top 10 list, top 20, top whatever list, you should have Kendrick above him.
Oh,
I agree.
100%. I'm not trying to hear nothing else.
I agree with that.
And you know what? We'll leave that segment at that. That was that sincere stuff to landing.
Yes, sir.
Let's go over to Lil Wayne. From Sin's favorite rapper to Masito's favorite rapper, favorite active rapper, because we know Pocket's number 1.
Yes, sir.
So in the interview, he stated, was it what platform was
Rolling Stones?
Rolling Stones.
In a Rolling Stones interview, he says he doesn't remember much about the Carter 3. And again, you know what? I'll go first. Then I'll let my brothers cook. To me, him saying he doesn't remember much about that era when Garrett dropped the songs, whatever the case may be, just magnifies the issues that certain older heads have with him as far as his love of the game, and even further about how much he himself contributed to the Carter 3. On top of the drug use that happened during that time. Like, you don't remember the biggest moment in your career? The biggest time when you were the biggest act in the world? You don't remember that? Of course you don't. You didn't write the shit. You know what I'm saying? So to me, Lil Wayne, Wayne saying he doesn't remember, it's basically the status quo for me as far as what I think of him overall as a rapper in the space. It is what it is. Y'all love Wayne, that's cool. I respect Wayne, but his pen is in question. The end. Mase, go ahead.
Hey, listen, man. Just like Jav mentioned, Lil Wayne is Pac's my favorite rapper ever, but Lil Wayne is the rapper I grew up on. You know what I'm saying? That's the rapper that when they drop some new shit, I'ma hit 2/5 and go see where the mixtape is at. You know what I mean? When they drop a new verse, I'm calling up my mans like, did you hear that shit? But I'm gonna be honest, you making it so hard to defend you, my boy. Like, like it's already hard enough. It's already hard enough being a fan of a crackhead. You know what I mean? It's already difficult enough. But it's like Wayne, like, and it's like, I feel like I be lost in translation because it's almost like he goes around in these interviews and he mentions that he don't remember this shit like a badge of honor. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, I did so much shit. But no, bro, I feel like, my nigga, you have holes in your brain, my nigga. Stop the lean, stop the hard drugs. This man been doing hard drugs for 20 plus years. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I'll be getting jumped like on some fight back nigga type shit, trying to defend you from these ghostwriting rumors. And you always say this shit that makes it look like you was getting ghostwritten for, bro. Wayne, I love you, bro, but I'm tired of the clown shit, bro. Like, you making it too hard. I'm gonna let him stomp you out, bro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stand over there in that corner and fake call 911.
Damn.
My talking points was literally, dude was on a lot of drugs, plus he didn't write his shit. That's why when you said it, it was like, that was literally what I had in the talking.
You threw the alley. I
like,
see the little. I was like, all right, thank you, Deanie.
I mean, so many artists that you're in connection with who you just happen to rap like, and their careers just happen to fall off while yours is taking off. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's what they were hired there for. You know, so we had the Corey Guns. We had Gilly,
J Mills,
Millie. You know what I'm saying? It's been a lot of shit. Granted, Santana. Granted, your man has been on a lot of narcotics over the last decade, 2-3 decades actually. he didn't write a lot of that shit. You know, it's hard to remember shit that you didn't write. Even Hov don't write the shit, but he still memorized the shit, bro. Like, this dude how you don't remember, you said it, the greatest moment of your life. This was the lollipop era where like this shit was flying off the that album was inescapable, bro.
There's heroin in lean.
Oof.
You're supposed to take, if you have like bronchitis or some shit, you're supposed to take a tablespoon of lean
Little opioid crisis.
every 6 hours. These
Drinking
niggas
a
are
whole
drinking
cup
cups every
at a
20
time.
minutes. So son's probably fresh. You see the nigga hair, bro. Like, why are we discussing this?
Right.
Talk to me, son.
Bro. Well, here's what first of all, early lawn segment for Rolling Stone.
Cooking. Oh boy.
Rolling Stone, get off my lawn, because like the headline reads, Lil Wayne is so prolific. So prolific. And also, just pause, I just want to pause real quick because a lot of people misinterpret the word prolific. Like I know for a fact, because when they use it, I'm like, that word doesn't mean what you think it means, right? Prolific doesn't mean deep. Prolific doesn't mean poetic. Prolific just means you put out a lot of shit. You did a lot of shit.
At a high level.
You know what I mean? Not even necessarily at a high level, just like you put out a lot of material, right? And so Rolling Stone is like, Lil Wayne is so prolific, he hardly remembers the Carter 3 15 years later. And I'm like, Rolling Stone, like, how are you spinning this?
The fuck are you talking
as
about?
Mase said, some type of badge of honor. Like,
The
how
fuck are you
spinning
talking
this
about?
as like he should be proud of this? No, man. Like my brother said, this is the biggest ascent. This is the apex of your career. You don't remember the apex of your career? That's not prolificness. That's drugs, my guy. Those are drugs. That's what that's called.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? Secondly, and I don't know if we was gonna get to this, but Wayne was also quoted as saying that there's nobody that can stand next to him on a Verzuz
I was
stage.
getting there, but you here now. Let's go.
Okay, so let's just talk about it. So also, he was also quoted as saying nobody's standing toe to toe with him on a Verzuz stage, right? And the problem I have here is, I think it. I'll give him this credit. I'll give Wayne this credit. He is definitely the most influential rapper to this generation. But that's not necessarily a good thing. I'm not saying that as a compliment. Because this idea that being prolific automatically makes you the best is something that we have to get rid of. Just because you put out the most shit does not make you the best in the game. And so I think that in his mind, knowing that, yo, like, all right, I did the Carter 3, but then I moved on to this mixtape, and then the Carter 4, and then these features, and I was constantly working, and I was always in the studio, and I didn't even pay attention to... Bro, that doesn't make you the best. It just makes you the hardest worker, and that's commendable. But it doesn't... The hardest worker doesn't make you the best. Point blank, right? There are plenty of artists that can absolutely stand toe-to-toe with you and probably beat you in a Verzuz stage. Just because you're the most prolific does not make you the best. Just because you put out the most quantity does not mean you have the best quality. End of story.
Deanie, is anybody touching Wayne in the Verzuz?
Jay-Z, Kanye, Drake. I can't see him beating any of those three guys.
Mase.
Agree with Deanie, Jay, Kanye, and Drake. I think those would all. Listen, Wayne. After them three, though, I want to have to go through the list. But you know, I've been saying Wayne was one of the Verzuz goats for a minute. You know what I mean? Now, listen, if we bring in, you know, the man just said he don't remember the Carter 3. You know what I mean? If we bring in,
how is he gonna perform that shit on stage? How does he even perform it
if we
anyway?
bringing that into it, that might be different.
It was an
You know what I'm
interview where he
saying?
said the fans wrote down his bars, and he basically had a notepad trying to re-recite his shit while he like does the prep.
I contemplated buying tickets to this latest Wayne tour, and when I seen how he was performing, I was like, hell
Shit.
to the
Never seen
motherfucking
it.
no,
He's one of the
bro.
headliners at the Bronx shit.
Right, bro,
Yeah.
embarrassing. Come on, man. Like,
No, but y'all remember
give a fuck.
did y'all see the it was somebody that was reciting his own bars to him,
He didn't
and
know.
he was in shock. He was like, yo, that sounds dope, and he didn't know it was his own bars.
I've seen that happen multiple
Bro,
times.
like,
All I have to say about this versus topic.
If you knew, sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Go ahead, get
I was gonna say, if you knew somebody like this in real life, you would be like, you need to go get help, bro. What do you mean you don't remember 2008, Deanie? What? Well, go to the doctor, my nigga.
Yeah, it would be sickening, bro.
What?
Well,
It's like Kramer when he got kicked in the head, bro. Yo.
Randy Orton shit.
facts. When it comes to this versus topic and Lil Wayne, I'm gonna let Lil Jamar take it from me.
Like, who is this guy? Where'd he come from? And why do we fucking keep acting like he's somebody that we need to fuck with? Get rid of this guy.
Get him out of here. Masito,
Hey.
your segment, you're one of the favorites on this pod. Let's get into a couple minutes with Mase himself.
Hey, the industry been a little quiet recently, so I'm gonna have to get it and tap into the young rap bag. You know what I mean? Because I've been thinking to myself, rap been so boring, but is this the return of young rap? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We have plenty of new releases recently. We got Lil Durk, Almost Healed. We got Kodak Black, Pistols and Pearls. We got Moneybag Yo, Hard to Love. That's a Jaw favorite over there. And then this week we had Doughboy, the Beezy album drop. I don't know, he's more of a like underground kind of Atlanta dude, but I fuck with him too. Best songs off of each of the projects, because I'm like, damn, young rap bringing the heat, and you know what I mean? The actual major leaguers is sitting at the crib with their feet up. But the best songs for Doughboy, Beezy, I'm gonna say Try and See. Got Roddy, Future, and G Herbo on there doing the hook. Moneybag Yo's album is crazy. I'm gonna need y'all to go listen to that one and kind of give us some feedback.
This weekend.
Ocean Spray is the hardest joint off of there. Kodak Black, the title track, Pistols and Pearls, I'm gonna say that's the hardest off there. And for Lil Durk, I'm gonna say the Skip Button is the hottest track on that shit, man.
Whoa.
Wow, bro. That's crazy, bro.
The shit with Cole's alright.
They forcing it with that.
Is it
I like
alright?
it though.
You listen to that?
Every once in a while,
Is it
I tap in.
downloaded in your?
You know what?
It's not.
Yeah.
I feel like if that
Dirk and Cole?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that joint.
Yeah, it was alright.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I
cool.
like I like what Cole does, but
Thank you, son.
I like what Cole does.
Fusion.
Cause Cole does what he does. Y'all know what
But you can't take my word for it, because I'm not the least
not
of a
the,
Dirk fan.
yeah.
I don't
says
even
a
know
lot,
what
though.
Dirk music usually sounds like.
Not the target audience.
So-
Nah.
The target
I
demo.
like it. It's on some I know I can type of.
Oh my
you know what I mean?
God.
And I'm still
See what I want to be.
I'm still working overtime so I could pay Sin to listen to that Dirk album and
Oh,
tell me
shit.
what the fuck was wrong with the sound on that shit, because I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Me and my bro, who's the biggest Dirk fan, shouts to my guy Warren, he even called me like, this shit is trash, man.
I don't know.
And that's like my Dirk, like that's the guy who let me know if I'm
I remember
wrong.
they said Dirk was the next Wayne. He was on a Wayne run and all of that.
They said, I mean, according to Deanie, they on the same track.
That's the only thing.
Zell fucking up. So
I think Dirk stinks. You think Wayne stinks, bro? We on the same thing.
Mate,
but,
Zell fucking up, so maybe I just didn't get the payment. I don't know.
Listen, man, it's Zell's fault, man. But you know,
Zell held me hostage, nigga.
listen, man, they had us in shambles. You almost didn't get a pod today, bro. Fucking Zell, man. But while we of course we speak about the music, but when it comes to the young rap, we gotta talk a little gossip as well. So I'm gonna have to talk about this Gunna shit, y'all.
Oh.
I mean, we're gonna have to delve into this shit now.
Taking shots.
Is he snitching or did he snitch?
We gonna get
is
there.
he snitch? I don't know.
We don't know, man. We don't know.
Taking shots on records.
Doug hasn't said a word, man. But listen, as far as y'all know, YSL still on trial as of right now. We still in the same place. It's still here, y'all. This isn't a Law and Order episode, and it's not 11:53. All right, but a couple of revelations have come out of it. YFN Lucci, Thug's Op, been offered a 17-year plea deal. That's the minimum. That's the minimum they
That's
offer.
not a plea deal that I want to take.
17
years.
plea deal.
What the fuck? What's the other option though? You got a life, nigga?
Tell
Like
on Thug. But you know what I mean? Thug's brother, Unfunk, which nobody talks about, but he did the same exact thing Gunna did. Same yes ma'am, all of that shit. They are a gang type shit. Unfunk, Thug's brother, he got out with the Gunna deal, got caught with a gun. He's back in 9 years. Good luck to him.
Lord of mercy.
Listen, man, it's a lot of shit going on with that YSL trial, and through that, Gunna dropped a new joint, Bread and Butter. Deanie, you threw that in the chat. This joint is kind of crazy. He getting that at Lil Baby,
Dirk.
He getting that Dirk. He kind of exposing the Lil Baby Marlo situation. They rap together and about, saying that 21 Savage's homies might have been the ones who got Lil Baby's homies and they still chilling. Gunna's getting he doing exactly what they said he does on here. You know what I mean? He telling all of it. He telling everything, man. So, you know what I mean?
Bro.
So Lil
That's
Baby's
crazy,
looking funny in the light. Gunna's looking funny in the light. He got on Dirk on there too. Like you say, you gotta use my name for streams type of shit. You know what I mean? And then after all of this, the footage dropped in the middle of the club. They was playing the joint and everybody was silent. Nobody was on the dance floor. So, you know what I mean? Gunna, I thought the joint was alright. You know what I mean?
Say Gunna's pop?
Listen,
This wasn't no like turn up Gunna song. This was like some.
it was a vibe joint. It was a
not
vibe.
It wasn't pushing. There you go.
It wasn't. It wasn't right.
It wasn't something with a little
Pusha T.
Future on the background. Like
Nah.
you get one of those, the world might turn around for this kid, bro.
Hopefully, man. Hopefully, but it's bad for him right now, and it's a shit show in Atlanta right now, bro.
It's over. That's how I feel about Gunna. It's cooked.
You always one hit away. Hope said it best, bro.
Nah, bro. It's cooked. Perception Police on 1. He's over with.
You think so?
Hell yeah, he's done, bro.
If he was a flow rider,
My
nigga, he'd have
a
been
whole
good,
club
but-
stopped moving, bro.
Bro,
Whole club in the A.
he's
They
done-
never stop
He's done
moving.
so much.
Gunna
music
gonna
for so
have
many
to take the
people.
flow rider route and start rapping for white people.
So many big hits that won't be rapped anymore because he's a part of them songs. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
You know what? There's Mase segment, and I don't mind the young rap in this case. It was very influential, very, very informative. Gunna, hold your head, bro. Now, to my favorite segment, the Mailbag.
Sir.
We have Navy vet, longtime fan of the show, tapped in.
Salute.
And you know what? I fuck with Navy vet because it's not always like Blow V and how good we are or how bad we are. Either they rock with it or they don't. They have balanced commenter, a balanced supporter. They don't agree with everything we say, and I can respect that.
Shout out to Navy Vet.
Mace, this one is for you.
Oh shit.
Navy vet says, I wonder why people don't speak on the fact that Pac could have survived the shooting, but his mother decided to let him go because she felt since Tupac lost a lung, his voice wouldn't have been the same and it would have killed him inside.
Navy Vet, you mentioned right. After the shooting, Tupac lost a lung. He lost a finger. He would have had to go severe therapy to even be able to use his body the way he would. So I think that, you know what I mean, as these are the hard conversations, right? And the type of shit you might have had with your family. But honestly, Pac's mother thought to herself, he wouldn't have wanted to live like this. So she pulled the plug. And who but your mother can make that decision for you? So shouts to Navy Vet. That is essential info that people don't know about that shit.
There was a person who said that when it comes to Tupac, nobody should watch this show when it comes to Tupac commentary because these niggas don't know shit.
Oh man.
So
Wow.
you saying that a person who does this research, and this is based on the debate that you and Sin had,
Right.
and just another person who really didn't do the knowledge, didn't listen, didn't figure out, although we said it's a debate and Sin is taking one side and Mase is taking one side, they still find a way to be like, don't talk to these guys, don't listen to niggas from New York about Tupac. It's like, bro, like,
It's crazy.
honestly, I know I'd love for this pod to be the like million subs, Joe Budden podcast level. But if that means I gotta deal with idiots like that, I'd rather us be half of that and just have elite niggas tapped into us.
real ones.
Because
Real talk.
like for Navy Vet to have this comment and get the debate, and for that other person to say that shit, it's like, bro, what are you watching?
Because I thought that was a good segment.
It was
Me and Sim
yeah.
both, you know.
Mad
laid the
niggas thought it
facts
was
out.
good.
Great debate.
Mad niggas said it
Unfortunately,
was ill to see in a podcast scenario
That
where there's a bunch of us,
perspective,
a nigga taking one side
Yep.
and you taking another side.
Not
So-
emotional.
Debate
Right.
it out.
You know what I mean? Just
The great debate.
I'm not fucking with y'all haters no more, bro. Haters don't deserve life.
we have no control over
Hell
it,
no.
unfortunately.
J-Dub, Dini, this is for you. He says, I thought the Nas song was cool. This is on the Spider-Verse joint. Like was mentioned, it's a soundtrack song for a kid's movie, and he was saying he was staying with the theme. Not going to make his greatest hits, but I think it's good for what they were trying to do. Dini, your thoughts?
I agree. I thought it was a cool song. I think it's a light little expression of the life of Miles Morales and Nas giving you his perspective of that. We all know Nas is great at giving you the visuals, you know what I'm saying, through a audio perspective. I thought it was dope. I like the way it ended the album. It was a very dope cut, and shout out to Nas. Get that money. I'm happy.
Hands down. Last but not least, for Sincere the Rap Snob, during the live, you mentioned the whole Conway the Machine and Prodigy discussion.
Yeah.
Jason Hodges says, shout out the Machine, but honestly, the eras will allow Conway to ever eclipse P. The time was so different. You could make street music and still be mainstream.
Facts.
There's probably nothing Conway could do. To that, you say what?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I made a similar point during that segment. Yeah, it's just it's a different era. You know what I mean? Like the hurdles that Conway and the whole Griselda probably has to jump through to even get the semblance of the same mainstream recognition that Prodigy and Mobb Deep got back in the day just by doing them. Like it's a much steeper hill to climb. And I'm very, very much aware of that. So yeah, I agree. I totally agree with that statement. Yeah.
Fire mailbag segment.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
Notice not much hate, not any hate at all. Quality conversation, people who want to take part in discourse. We're no longer highlighting the negative shit. I think I went wrong highlighting the negative shit because the niggas tried to be as negative as possible
Just to make
to be seen.
Yeah, every now and then it might be fun.
Right.
That's a good point.
Every now and again.
Gotta have a little flame on.
If you add into the discourse, you will be highlighted on the Roundtable Mailbag because that's really what we're trying to display here on this pod. We're not historians. We're not people who want to pretend that we were there when we weren't there. We get third-hand perspective of stories from other niggas.
Niggas that love hip-hop.
We just niggas that love hip-hop.
Right,
On Twitter, if you read our bio, we says we're people who don't expect you to always agree with us.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what this show is about. We're
fun.
fans talking to other fans and building a community through that.
Of the culture, talking to people of the culture.
Hands down.
Not talking about Curtis Blow in '84.
Nah, bro, he wasn't there.
Or the Juice Crew in '86, '87.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like '88.
We gonna straight up let you know I don't know what the fuck you talking about.
Straight like that. Now, we are uptown.
Yes, sir.
We under that little bread situation. They got the food festival going.
Yes, sir. Uptown.
There's a couple of underdressed harlots looking immaculate. Yow. They had some food. They had some drink. They made a left and then a right, and somehow they ended up on Sincere's block. He's been working on that lawn. The tulips and the roses are flourishing, and they stepped all over it. So Sincere got outside, and he's living, and he asked him to get off my lawn. Get the fuck off the lawn.
All right. This lawn segment goes out to what I feel is like a very niche audience, but apparently not. The homie Mase threw this link into the group chat earlier today, I believe, maybe yesterday. I don't know. Time is a social construct. I don't know. Yeah, the 50 most streamed rappers on Spotify, right? And a lot of this makes sense. We're not going to go through the whole list naturally. Maybe another time, right?
The next lunch hour, tap in.
Yeah.
Facts.
You know, a lot of these make sense. Drake is number one. Makes sense. You know what I mean? Eminem number two. We just talked about Eminem number two, but considering his audience, it makes sense. Yay, number three. Kendrick Lamar number 7. I'm a huge Kendrick Lamar, but top 10 makes sense. Yeah. And I'm going through the list and I'm like, all right, Lil Uzi 11 makes sense. Wayne 14 makes sense. Young Thug 16, Pop Smoke 17 makes sense. And I'm going through this and I'm like, in terms of streaming numbers, in terms of who the fuck is most popular in the streaming era, I'm like, all right, a lot of this makes sense. Migos 22, Kodak Black 27, and then I get to number 30. And I'm like, G-Eazy?
Them people, man.
G-Eazy? In the top 30 most streamed Spotify rappers? What? I'm at a loss for words. What was the last G-Eazy song? What's the shit? What's the last shit that popped off?
You know the bars.
It was.
guys.
It
was it a
only know the
feature?
shit with
Was it his
Megan.
song?
It was a joint
Cardi.
he did with
A$AP.
son from CMG. Who's the boss of CMG?
Yo Gotti.
Yo, he did a joint with Yo Gotti a couple years ago that was bringing
Listen,
off.
he did a joint with A$AP. A$AP is 31. Jay-Z is 34. Khaled, for all the Voltron building, is 35.
Niggas don't fuck with Khaled like that, bro. It's just a reality.
Kid Cudi 39. Shit, Macklemore. I would have been happy with Macklemore being ahead of G-Eazy. Fuck out of it.
That song was that big?
Tupac 41. Russ, I would have been happier with Russ being above G-Eazy. But
White
G-Eazy,
people love
Logic before
Spotify.
Hov
listen.
just feels
Whoever is out there spinning G-Eazy like this, y'all gotta get off the fucking lawn, bro. What are y'all doing? G-Eazy? Y'all listen to a motherfucker that wants to look like fucking Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio ass rapper. That's who y'all listening to?
More like Pat Riley, bro.
Bro, Pat Riley with the fucking side,
The slick back.
the slick back with the side part. Come on, bro. Y'all can do better than that, man. Yo, dead ass. Whoever's out there like spinning G-Eazy like this, y'all gotta get the fuck off my lawn. Do better, bro. Go away.
Go away.
Logic before Hov is
Listen,
wild.
if you think G-Eazy is a top 30 artist on any list that involves streaming, if you don't understand the impact of the others, them people on hip hop stats, if you don't understand that Kendrick Lamar being number 7 on any list is a foul, quite frankly, the fact that Megan Thee Stallion made the top 50, but her units don't look right. There's a lot of issues with this list, and quite frankly, if you don't pull up to the lunch hour to watch us break down this list, you can absolutely. Hold on. There you go.
Y'all, can I get off?
Talk to me.
Meg Thee Stallion for letting G-Eazy be.
Oh, we
All the way off.
We can't confirm or deny.
I'm pissed.
But quite frankly, when that video dropped and they was spooning on the bed, and G-Eazy got to feel how soft those yams were. Soft. It was a problem, and quite frankly, nothing was the same about Earth after that fucking video drop.
Right.
One more. On that note, Khalees got to get off my lawn too, bro.
Oh no! Who is it? Who's she with?
Bill Murray.
Oh my God.
Bill Murray, bro.
That's the word.
What?
She get her
We're not
ghost
getting into the
busted.
chat shit, but like,
Khalees, you look
Come on,
fire
bro.
in your farm outfit, but you kissing them wrinkled lips. Just tell us it's a money grab so we can respect it.
yo, he's worth like 180.
There you go.
That's
Yo,
crazy.
that nigga needs Cialis and Viagra.
And the honey pack, bro.
Come on, and a honey pack, boy. And pink
All
horsepower.
that shit.
Come on, bro.
He taking the full pack.
Come on, bro.
Oh, I'm
Yo,
dead.
he got the shits that say
This
Monday,
is
Tuesday,
golden.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
The cake.
Listen,
got
yes,
these shits
he got
on
this nigga got a Percocet of blue pills, nigga. The fuck going on? As always, listeners, viewers, commenters, the members of the chat,
Right.
we appreciate y'all. The people who make the Rap Roundtable what it is, the viewers who pull up for every single episode, we appreciate y'all. The people who bite the slang, bite the bars, and don't tag y'all, we appreciate y'all too, because that just goes to show that you are tapped in. Sharon, you know who you are.
Yes.
We appreciate
Yes.
you because we've been in some rooms that you opened doors for us. We got some looks where you opened doors for us, and future looks where you've opened doors for us. And we've never shouted you on wax. You know who you are, Sharon. We appreciate you. The Rap Roundtable is ever building, ever ascending, ever growing. And no matter how much you try to get us up out of here, when you tag niggas or you try to make it seem like we're something that we're not, you can't stop this podcast. Unstoppable. Immovable object.
One more thing, Denona Rosa, best pizza in fucking
Hey.
Brooklyn.
That part.
Way.
That part.
See you soon.
We about to head over there right now.
And with all of that said, Deanie the Balance, take us home.
Yo, as my brother Jarv said, thank you for all of y'all for fucking with us, rocking with us. From the day ones to the people that's fucking with us today, we appreciate y'all. You know what it is, man. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Apple Podcast, Spotify, everywhere. Shout out to Jiggy Josh for fucking with us. You know what I'm saying? You know what it is. If you need that info in the industry, you know who to talk to. Masito, voice of the young people and the fucking industry. Get acquainted. You hear the production. You know what this man does. Every beat you hear on this pod, so sincere. This man makes beats. Holla
at me.
Guys.
The busiest nigga in entertainment. The point guard.
Hey, man.
Making runs.
It's my fucking
running
dog.
plays.
Making it happen every
playing
time,
runs, nigga.
My nigga, man.
Jav the point guard, man.
Now say his name one more time, bro.
Jav.
Yes.
The point guard.
Sir.
Legendary shit. Hardest
Appreciate
working man in
y'all niggas,
podcasting.
Real talk.
Yo, I'm Deanie the Balance of the Force. Your mom's favorite. And with our powers combined,
Your mom's favorite. That's
We
gonna
on
be
the
on the shirt.
we on the rap round table and we fucking out of here.
Yes, sir.
The heroes you need.
Another podcast where we pulled it out of our ass and entertained y'all.
And cook.
We love y'all.
How the fuck we keep
Fuck
doing it?
you, me.